So in this video, I'll take the next step up from the last one that I did for network monitoring and showing your information about your routers or switches or firewalls being up or down using PowerShell script. In this one, I am not only going to show you how it's going to look like on the screen, but also I am enabling email messages to alert you when your devices are down. So I'm using Gmail for this example. I'm not sure if any other public free email providers provide this facility, but Gmail does. So let's go through the setup. I've got two VIOS routers configured on my VirtualBox interface, getting a DHCP address on 127 and 128. Should be able to ping them on my VirtualBox interface, who's got an address on 56.1. So if I ping 192.168.56.127, I am looking good, and 128, I'm looking good. So these two routers are looking good. I'm going to run my mail monitor script now. And that is going to show me that both of my routers are up, and so it's going to display the information in green. It's first round with the timestamp. What I'm going to do now, I'm going to bring one of these down, and it's going to give me a red alert on 127, and it's going to give me a mail message saying your IP is down. So let's see if it does. And once it gives me a red alert with the time stamp and everything, I should get an alert in my mail message Gmail that 127 is down. All right, let's bring this guy back up. It's going to take a second before it actually turns green. You'll probably see more mail messages until it gets up because it's a virtual environment. So in the real world, you should be able to immediately see the results. So 128 is up. I'm still noticing 127 down. Let's see if it gives me both green. And it's still showing 127 down. I should get a third email that 127 is down, and it did. With the fifth round, let's go and go. Let's see, hopefully it comes back up on the sixth round. And it looks like it has not yet. So it's going to keep prompting me for 127 being down, even though it is up, again, because of the virtual environment. So just to give you an illustration, then when you test this, it will look like this. Now 127 came back up, 128 is up. Got 4 email messages. Let's go bring this guy down, and it's going to show me 128 is down. As soon as I get the red alert on my visual, I also get an email alert that my 128 is down. So it should give me 128 is down. There you go, 128 is down. All right, so that's the illustration of how you can see visuals as well as mail messages of your devices going up and down. Now let's take a look at what is required to achieve this. First of all, I have done this using Gmail. I'm sure there are other service providers or mail providers that can make this happen. If you have corporate email that enables this, you can make it work. That will probably work as well. But now let's take a look at once you enable the Gmail, you'll get a security alert, so be aware of that. So let's take a look at the script. So in this script, I have a sleep count of 5. Wait 5 seconds to go before you ping anything or do anything. You can change this to 10 seconds or to your needs. I'm counting the rounds, how many times this script is running, going into an infinite loop with a while, changing the color. Again, all of this is PowerShell scripts in Windows. I'm using Windows 11. I'm getting a timestamp in a variable, and then counting how long that device was down. Then I get into the for loop. I'm reading the IPs from this file, ips.log, which is basically a file with my IPs, 127 and 128 for the two routers. For each IP, it's going to ping 3 times in 3 different variables, C1, 2, 3, 3. It's going to ping once. And if either one of the pings are going to reply with a TTL in it, it's good. I don't want to do a single ping, and if it doesn't match up the TTL, and I alert myself, it could be a false positive. So I do 3 pings, or if you want to do 4 pings, 5 pings, whatever you want. So if it comes back, either one of them comes good, I'm green. Otherwise, what I'm going to do, I am going to count down, and I'm going to do a visual of red with the timestamp when it went down, and I am going to send this message on my PowerShell script using the send mail message, using the SMTP of Gmail with the port 587 SSL on my Gmail address. And this command is doing the trick of automating the mail messaging or mail alerting for this script. Now to get to this, there are some steps that you got to do for obviously the Gmail, because I'm using Gmail here. So let me show you the steps that are required to get only this part working, right? All the other, if you don't want the mail, obviously the visual works automatically, but if you want the mail messages come up, which was my intention, you gotta go through some certain steps. So let me show you those steps. All right, so in the Gmail, you're gonna log into your account, and once you do that, you have to enable two-factor authentication, two-step authentication using this URL. Once you go enable that, your next step is to go to this URL and enable app password. Since you're not using the web browser, you're going to have to enable an app password for mail, select mail, and then select Windows Computer because we're using PowerShell. And then click generate. Once you get that password, copy it, put it in your notepad somewhere. Then go to the next step and go to this URL, and basically it's a CAPTCHA thing saying continue with the external access to the Google account. So it's not going to prompt you for the CAPTCHA things, right? So you kind of disable the CAPTCHA for the external app. Once these 4 steps are complete, now you go to your PowerShell prompt by typing command and then typing PowerShell. And then to make sure that your script runs, you're going to run this command, set execution policy remote signed, so that you can run it in a file format. After you verify that your PowerShell scripts are running in a file format, like typing the PowerShell script name and pressing enter, it should run. After you're done, now your next step is to capture the credentials, right? So here's the trick. You're going to put the credentials in a variable called creds or whatever you want to call it. And this is the PowerShell applet or command that's going to prompt you. Once you run this command, it's going to prompt you. A Windows window will pop up to put in your Gmail account and the app password. So this is where you're going to put your app password that you copied from here, from this URL. You paste this one, not your account password. It's going to be app password. So make sure you make that difference. And once you do that and press enter, it's going to disappear, right? and your credentials are also, basically it's prompting you, and you can put that in a variable format. You can put it in a XML format as well. So instead of getting in this, you can say get credential equals to from an XML file or what have you. Multiple ways to do it. I'm just giving you a quick way to test this through a variable. Once you do that, it's your credentials are stored in this variable, whatever you want to call it. And then on the PowerShell script, you are just going to run this command, SMTP Gmail port 587, use SSL from your account to your account, subject IP down. And the credentials are in this variable. So the IP down, make sure you put the variable IP from that script. Otherwise, it's not going to give you the IP. So it's going to be a $IP. That once you complete these steps, which are very straightforward, just the catchy part is that your credential, when you put the credentials in after this command, don't put your Gmail account password. It has to be the app password that you got from this URL. Once you do this, you're golden, and your script should work to give you the prompts on, or mail messages, mail alerts on what IP is down. This is a poor man network monitoring that I found that it's easy to do than to procure, buy, or even get a free source, open source thing and install and configure all this stuff. You know, writing a simple script with email notification or a visual notification appears to be, in my opinion, much more simpler. Hope this helps.